Have you checked your child's cell phone activity lately? If not, now's a good time. Joplin Police Department says there's an increase in sextortion in our area. I'm Lonnie Walton in Joplin. I'll have that story coming up.
Plus, we've got expert advice on keeping our four-legged friends safe and cool during the dog days of summer. And a longtime Carthage Industries celebrates a plant expansion.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The Joplin Police Department is seeing a troubling rise in sextortion cases involving minors across southwest Missouri. This is KOAM News at 6. I'm Tanya Bach. Officials say these cases began to spike around the start of summer break. As KOAM's Lonnie Walton reports, law enforcement is tight-lipped on the steps they're taking, but they are sending a clear message to parents and guardians. Keep a close watch on what your kids are seeing and who they're talking to.
Their phones and their iPads and their Chromebooks, everything have parental lock.
Opal Goswick is a grandmother of 19 grandchildren. She says she keeps a heavy eye on them and their media activity, all because of an incident involving her granddaughter several years ago.
Her mom found out that she was talking to a much older man, so then they began to lock their devices.
Locking devices may not be a bad idea, as Detective Larry Roller from the Joplin Police Department says there's been an increase in sextortion in the area, and he says it's bad.
It's not just the cases that we're getting through cyber tips, through the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. It's also surrounding agencies that are getting these reported to them.
And Detective Roller says these predators are playing some sneaky tricks.
Sometimes they will change platforms. Like if they are on Facebook Messenger, they'll have them do it on Snapchat, where they think that their messages they send back and forth will then delete.
Detective Roller says parents need to keep their eyes wide open.
Just be a parent and ask them to see their device. Have them show you who they're talking to. Have them show you their friends list.
And locals say that's what they're doing.
Make sure you're really close with them and doing a lot of things with them, because if you're spending time with them, you kind of know their tendencies.
Don't allow your kids unattended with electronics, with any social streaming. It's too easy for predators to come after our kids.
And our expert goes on to say if you happen to be a victim, to contact law enforcement as soon as possible. Reporting in Joplin, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Well, Detective Roller says if you become a victim, never give suspects their demands, and again, contact law enforcement immediately. Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us now with a first look at weather.
And it got hot outside for us today as we climbed into lower 90s during the afternoon. Mainly dry. We had a few hit and miss little isolated guys out there earlier this morning, especially on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side, similar to kind of what we're seeing still out there toward Wichita. Severe thunderstorm warning just north of there. We just got some little spotty little guys, and again, most of you are going to stay dry this evening as we slide back through the 80s, eventually into the mid 70s. But it gets hot this weekend. A pair of 94s, heat index about 100 to about 105 throughout the weekend, and it's hot right now. It's 91 in Joplin. Pittsburgh is sitting at 90 degrees, and well, our humidity is up there, so it makes it feel a little bit worse. Look at our heat indices, mid to upper 90s to lower triple digits. Those climb over the weekend. We're going to look at it here in a bit.
All right, thanks, Doug. We all know to check on the elderly and others who may be vulnerable to the dangerous heat. And like us, our furry friends are susceptible to heat-related illness. When the heat and humidity rise, animals can develop heat exhaustion and even heat stroke while playing outside in as little as half an hour to an hour. The color and length of their coats also plays a factor. Darker, longer coats tend to absorb and retain more heat, causing internal temperatures to rise faster. Lighter, shorter coats reflect more heat, which keeps them cooler for longer. But these types lead to animals getting sunburned. Now, sunburns are not the only kind of burns you need to watch out for.
There's grass in them, that's where they should be walked. And if you're walking your dog on cement or on asphalt, you have to watch the foot pads. You should check the feet pads when you're done walking. And you could always soak them in some cool water when you get home.
And one local expert says the best way to prevent burns and heat illness is to first limit their time outside, also keep them hydrated. Generally, you want to provide them with 20 to 40 milliliters per pound, depending on how hot it is and also how long they will be outside. And of course, try to keep them in the shade. $9 billion in federal funding cuts could soon have an impact on public broadcasting across the nation. As Sophia Grander reports, the looming cuts have created uncertainty and confusion for PBS Kansas.
PBS Kansas has provided public programming to the state for 55 years. This includes documentaries, live interviews, and more, but PBS Kansas says the most important thing they provide are educational programs for children. They cite a study that says kindergarten-age children who watch PBS are more advanced than their peers. PBS Kansas has a $4 million budget. 25% of that comes from federal funding. The station will now have to find that money for the rest of the fiscal year. They say that they have faith in their community and will continue to provide their usual programming as best they can. But they say they don't understand why this funding has been cut.
We have done absolutely nothing wrong. We have not produced biased, one-sided programming because that is against our philosophy and our policy. We produce balanced local programs. We broadcast the national programs.
The bill, which is headed to the president's desk, also includes deep cuts for foreign aid. The Carthage Chamber of Commerce celebrated a business expansion today with a ribbon-cutting ceremony. Ajinomoto Foods has celebrated the day and reaffirms its commitment to the Carthage area with the addition of a brand new state-of-the-art freezer. The addition represents the latest investment in an ongoing effort to modernize and enhance the facility. The facility has operated in the Carthage community for more than 75 years. Well, the Old Soldiers and Sailors reunion lands in Erie, Kansas, and we're taking you there live. That story's coming up. But up first, new numbers for a public library.
Miami Public Library has had a recent increase of attendance following a decline since COVID. I'm Ty Parks, and I'll have a story of how they bounce back coming up.
Public libraries across the nation saw a decrease in attendance during the pandemic. Rural libraries were hit harder than ones in major cities. Now, Ty Parks brings us the story of how the Miami Public Library defied those numbers and got them higher than before.
I do know that it was basically nothing. We were lucky to have a couple hundred people come through in a month. During COVID, it was basically no one. It was a ghost town, obviously. After COVID, it was, I think we were lucky for 10,000 that first year that came through for the entire year. It was really low.
What happens to a public library when the attendance goes down?
We can't really apply for grants. It makes it really hard for us to apply for grants because we don't have good attendance numbers. It makes our funding cut in terms of what we're getting from the state and things like that. And also from the city, it just kind of makes it seem like we're not doing enough.
Since then, the Miami Public Library is seeing large numbers of people coming in, more than before COVID. To bring in more people, the employees of the library have increased their footprint in the community.
Now we post like 2 times a day sometimes, and just really making sure that our social media posts are getting on people's feeds. We go to a lot of outreach programs, basically anything where people can set up a table or a booth. We're there handing out resources, letting people know that what we have here. We're doing more programs than we've ever done before. Our staff are really pushing to try to give people as many resources as possible.
Community members are grateful for the Miami Public Library, members like Ruby.
The people at the desk are always very helpful, and they always help me find what I'm looking for, and tell me if I've read it before or if it's available or not. And I love the people that work here. They're just so very helpful.
Great. We're kind of a cultural hub. A lot of things involved with the arts. So our arts and humanities that kind of run the Heritage Fest and the Mural Fest and everything like that. Our director is actually the head of that. It's in her job description to run those things basically as the president. So without the library, we wouldn't really have that.
Culture, books, and community, all at the Miami Public Library. Ty Parks, KOAM News.
The Miami Public Library is always accepting donations. It uses them to help with increased programming. A little later, the Outlaws take on the Shadow Cats. Ben McLeish has a preview of tonight's matchup in Sherman.
And the heat's going to kick in a little bit more over the weekend. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it turned out to be a hot one for us today, but really mainly 80s most of the week, which is below average. But today, we snuck up into the 90s, and it gets worse as we go into the weekend and really next week. We've also been dealing with hit and miss storms pretty much all week long. We had some scattered guys out there earlier this morning, and still we have some scattered guys. You can see a couple of thunderstorms just north of Wichita. Not too much going here, not really anything to track as they kind of pop up and then they're gone. But most of you will stay dry as we go through the overnight hours. 80s, 70s, stays warm, stays sticky across the region. Let me walk you through your weekend if you're going to be camping, hot, or if you're going to do some floating or head to Grand Lake, Beaver, Table Rock, Stockton Lake. It's going to be a pretty nice lake weekend or an outdoor weekend, but you just want to be careful because the extreme heat, the humidity is going to be out there, so you want to drink plenty of fluids if you are going to be outside. Near 90 by noon, let me take you into the afternoon. 94, 95, 96 degrees in spots. Should be dry thunderstorms just to our north near the Kansas City metro. That I-70 corridor points north. Mid 70s to start your Sunday. Let's go into Sunday afternoon. Again, 94, 95, 96 degrees across the region and dry. So pretty consistent through the weekend. 94s, hot, humid, heat index about 100 to about 106, 107 during the afternoon. Let's go outside. Right now it looks pretty good. Nice shot of our Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex tower cam. We're looking downtown Joplin. Most of us 90 to about 91 degrees. So it's still hot even after 6 p.m. And look at our humidity. Look at these dew points, 70 to about 75. So whenever you get this high in the summer, it makes it feel kind of muggy to soupy. And we're going to see that sticking around through the weekend. In fact, our heat indices right now still upper 90s to lower triple digits. We're going to do that again on your Saturday, probably 100 to about 105 during the afternoon, maybe a notch higher as we go into Sunday. About 103 to about 108. So that is why we have extreme heat warning in effect over the next few days. But a little bit of a breeze. Look at this. Southerly winds, kind of gusts, kind of 20, 23, which isn't bad. So at least it stays a little breezy as we go through the weekend. A little bit of a breeze on Sunday as well. What is causing all this? You may be wondering. Big dome of high pressure kind of working in over the next few days. Keeps most of the rain just to our north, so we stay hot, we stay humid, we mainly stay dry across the region. This is going to last all the way through next week. Let's take a look at it. Here's Monday, mid-90s, thunderstorms to our north. Here's Tuesday, mid-90s, maybe even upper 90s, thunderstorms to our north. Here's Wednesday, mid-90s, even upper 90s, near 100 degrees. So very hot, very humid as we go through the next few days. Pair 94s, Saturday and your Sunday, 95s, Monday and Tuesday, 96s, Wednesday and Thursday, up to 97 next Friday. So it's July. It's supposed to be hot,
yeah,
but we are a smidge above where we should be for this time of year.
Yeah, and you got to think about the humidity and what that actually feels like on top of that is. Maybe we don't want to think about that.
There you go.
All right, thanks, Doug. Well, the 152nd Soldiers and Sailors Reunion is in full swing. You're looking at a live image from downtown Erie, Kansas, where the 6 p.m. free bean feed just got underway. Volunteers are serving up a whopping 1,200 pounds of Navy beans to hungry reunion goers. That's a lot of pots of beans there. Later tonight, the 80s tribute band Paramount will be rocking the stage, followed by fireworks. The fun continues tomorrow, and you can find all the details on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Still ahead, the Outlaws are in Texas for a matchup with the Shadow Cats. Plus, the Royals and Cardinals are back on the diamond after the All-Star break. Ben McLeish has those stories and more coming up in sports.
The Joplin Outlaws remain at the top of the Mid-America League, but the Abilene Flying Bison creep close behind. Joplin will look to protect its 1.5 game lead tonight. The Outlaws are in Sherman to face the Shadowcats, winners of their last 4. And Joplin's coming off a series with the Marshalls where they dropped 2 of 4 games. If the Outlaws have a bad weekend, they could be in second place in the Mid-America League before it's over. So this will be a big series. First pitch for tonight's game is at 7:05. Well, in the major leagues, the All-Star break is finally over, and the Royals and Cardinals look to start the second half of the season off strong. Both teams have favorable matchups. They each face a team below 500. The Royals are in the Sunshine State for a series with the 44-51 Marlins. This one just started. We're in the first, and the Cardinals are in Arizona for a late-night matchup against the D-backs at 8:40. Every game is vital for both of our teams as the trade deadline looms just 2 weeks away. After a strong 10-game stretch, the Royals are 3 games below 500. Still 12 games behind the first-place Tigers in the AL Central, but only 4.5 games out of a wild-card spot. With another good stretch, the Royals could find themselves in the playoff picture. They're going to need to improve those offensive numbers. Their 73 homers rank second to last in baseball. The KC's team ERA is second best. If the Royals can keep up that consistent pitching and generate more power, their season is far from over. But while the Royals are on a hot streak, the Cardinals have cooled off a little bit. They're 4-6 in their last 10 games, but they still sit 5 games above 500 and just a game and a half out of the wild card. They've got some work to do if they want to claim the division, 7 games behind the Cubs. But the Redbirds have been a middle-of-the-pack team all season, and the stats reflect that. They're 10th in team average, 21st in home runs, and 20th in ERA. St. Louis still looks for that spark, and they'll have to decide soon if they want to be buyers at the trade deadline. Well, in the PGA Tour, the British Open concludes its second day. And look who ends the day in first. Scottie Scheffler is sitting pretty at the top of the leaderboard, looking for his 4th major win and first British Open championship. He sits at 10 under, but not far behind are Matt Fitzpatrick, Brian Harman, and Ho-Tong Lee, all within 2 strokes. The cut is set at 1 over, and some notable names fail to qualify for another day, including Jason Day, Patrick Reed, and Brooks Koepka. Well, that's it for sports. We're back with more after the break.
Wesley Becker, a 4-state hero.
Here's a look at what's coming up on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. Chances are you cook with cooking oils, but which one is the best? We'll have advice from the experts on which one's the right one for you. Plus, monster trucks roll back into the stomping grounds in Lamar, Missouri. Those stories and a lot more tonight on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. Final check of the weather?
Yeah, it's going to be hot. We're going to be into the mid-90s over the weekend, but the humidity is going to be high, so that means our heat index is about 101 to 107 through the weekend.
All right, and final sports note.
Cardinals and Royals have their first matchups after the All-Star break. Going to be a big one for them.
All right. Well, thank you for watching. We will see you right back here at 10. Have a great evening and an even better weekend.